talk about all the variables. So to keep this thing super safe, those are the goals that you guys are mostly trying to get for.
이제 두 개가 있는데 뭐 일반 뭐 월식 그다음에 일식 이게 뭐 카덴차 이렇게 있는데 게이지가 아무것도 없는 상태에서 각성기를 보스한테 맞추면은 바로 게이지가 하나가 차거든요.
Both Reapers use the first awakening skill because if you use that, you get to fill up your meter completely.
네, 그래서 저는 간단하게 먼저 일단 아무것도 없는 상태에서 보여드리면 일단 섀도우 스톰이랑 섀도우 닷 이렇게 해서 하나 채워서 이렇게 사용을 하고 나이트메어 디스토션 나이트메어 그다음에 트랩 이거 이렇게 해서 사용을 하고 그다음에 트랩이 쿨타임인 경우에는 이제 섀도우 닷 나이트메어 디스토션만 사용을 해서 섀도우 닷 그다음에 디토 그다음에 섀도우 닷 이렇게 해서 넣고 바로 각성기에서 세 번째 급습까지 이런 식으로 이 급습 스킬만 세 개만 그냥 이제 멸화를 박아주시면 되고요.
And real quick on gems is the red skills are in all damage gems. So for your 3 red skills. And the rest of them is going to be all cooldown, which is all 8 skills. As for your spec upgrades, right? You're basically focusing on getting the damage gems for your red skills first. And then as for cooldown, the most important one is your Shadow Dagger because it impacts the cooldown of your red skills, right? So you focus on that after. But the thing is, by the time you guys are in like 1490 and you guys have bracelets too, and this is when your spec goes above 1700. And when that is the case, if you happen to take Shadow Trap instead, the Shadow Trap's cooldown gem needs to be very high because the cooldown tends to be a little higher. So those would be the next thing that you should focus on to maximize. So this basically covers the basics of Moonreaper. So he's going to go over to Thirst now.
게이지 한번 더 채우면 이렇게 빨간색으로 변하거든요. 이 상태에 들어가면 이제 아까 말씀드렸던 강화가 된 상태인데.
Okay, so as for Thirst mode, make sure you don't use your Z skill. Because that's not how the class works. For example, you guys have seen him fill up the red bar and then he becomes rage mode. And if you go to rage mode, for 8 seconds, you get additional movement speed, additional attack speed, and 15% crit rate, like 10% each, and then 15% crit rate. And in order for you to reset that cooldown of 8 seconds, you can just use the purple skills on the air, or you can land your green skills. And if you have enough swiftness, about 1500, what happens is you can just use distortion, which is the A skill, to reset your rage buff. So technically, by just spamming that one skill, you can keep that buff up 100% of the time. But other than that, landing your green skill or just utilizing the purple skill itself will reset the buff. And the point is to keep that buff up as long as you can while doing damage. For Thirst build in the playstyle, you guys have seen Nightmare going back and forth to fill the meter, right? But instead, for Thirst, you land the Nightmare first, and then you kind of like maneuver around, walk around, see what the boss does. And if the boss happens to turn around, you press Nightmare immediately to go behind them and land your red skills after. So those kind of maneuvering is very important because your goal is to land all your green skills or use your purple skills to keep that buff up and land all your red skills on the back.
딜사이클이라고 할 만한 건 솔직히 그냥 얘 같은 경우는 무지성으로 해도 돼요. 왜냐면 쓰고 넣고 제트를 쓰고 넣고 이럴 필요가 없기 때문에 그냥 쿨타임이 될 때마다 그냥 이렇게 급속하게 때려 박고 뭐 이런 식으로 그냥 무지성으로 때려도 돼요. 저 같은 경우에는 그냥 두 스킬을 묶어요. 이 레이지 스페어랑 사이런트 스페셜을 하나로 묶어서 이렇게 하나, 둘, 그 다음에 섀도우 닷, 그 다음에 이 두 개, 그래피티랑 퓨리 이렇게 해서 한 세트로.
To go again, for the Thirst build, the particular playstyle is you can just piano it, as in the red skill, you land as much as you can. You can just press it in any order because the cooldown is going to be much faster. But in his case, if you want to be a little bit organized, he usually groups a W and D skill together and an R and F skills together while maneuvering at the same time. Because if you use 2 skills and then you use your Shadow Dagger, the cooldown of that red skill decreases, right? So you do that and then you maneuver around with the maneuver skills that you're provided and then use the R and F skill to do DPS again. And then you keep utilizing your Shadow Dagger to decrease the cooldown of your red skills. And then you keep rotate red skills accordingly.
그다음에 섀도우 스톰도 아까 말씀드렸지만 제가 잠깐만 보여드릴게요. 이게 스매셔가 2100만이 뜬다라고 하면은 2400만이
오.
뜨거든요. 데미지가 상당히 낮은 편이
오,
아니기
와우.
때문에 섀도우 스톰도 웬만하면은 뭐 옆이나 헤드가 아니라 이제
back.
되도록이면 백에 맞춰줄 수 있으면 백에
Yep.
맞춰주는 게 좋다라고 설명해
that's-
주실 것 같아요.
Compared to the Moon Reaper, the Thirst Reaper requires more DPS gems. As you notice, you have the Shadow Storm DPS gem, and then you have the 4th red skill, right? So you need the DPS gem on that, and then you have cooldown on all of them. And lastly, you would need to have the Shadow Dagger as an additional cooldown. That's the gem combinations that you guys should be aiming for.
갈증 같은 경우에 이제 보스를 이렇게 딱 마주쳤으면 이제 게이지가 없다는 가정하에 뭐 이제
With no
섀도우
meter.
닷 그다음에 쉐닷 그다음에 나이트면 딱 맞추면은 이제 조금만 기다리면 바로 차거든요. 게이지가. 이 상태에서 아까 말씀드린 거 이제 각성기를 딱 사용을 하면은 잠깐만 다시 보여드릴게요.
Here's gonna show it to you again.
이렇게 해서 이렇게 해서 이제 한 줄을 딱 채운 다음에 각성기를 사용하면 바로 혼동으로 들어가거든요.
Oh, right. So as for the start for thirst, as you notice, if you have one bar filled up from 0 by utilizing Shadow Storm and Nightmare and sort of all these skills, and as long as you have that one bar, you use your Awakening to go to Rage mode immediately. So after that, you're going to rotate your red skills and green skills, maneuver skills to rotate your DPS. That's the actual start. So this covers most of the stuff that we can cover in Trixion, the basics and the combinations and all the other stuff. Now it's time for the fun part. It's time to kill the Monk Guardian. So he's going to show you again for the Nightmare skill. You can counter twice with it. If you throw it, that's a counter. But if you teleport in front of him, that's also a counter. On probably both builds because he has both builds. So, and afterwards, we're going to have like a Q&A session. So you guys save your questions a little bit and then we can probably talk about it, okay? Here we go, boys.
우선은 달소 먼저 좀 보여드릴게요.
He's going to show you Moon Reaper first. Wowzers, I'm excited. Real pro Reaper player in action, boys. Pause. Oh, so some of the stuff we learned, right? You see what he does? Put those into consideration. Right, fill up that bar, red skill. Right, fill up the bar, red skill again. He goes back. He fills the bar again, red skill. So this is the playstyle of a Moon Reaper and how it should be in terms of rotating skills. As if he was explaining during the Trixion. There you go.
그래서 이렇게.
Nice. Oh, that's a sick counter, dude. You guys saw that? He dashed and then he went to the other side to counter him. Wow. See, filling that bar up right there? Filling that bar up right there? Filling that bar up again? Doing that massive DPS. That's sick. Definitely something I can't do. But yeah, so you notice kind of uses persona to use it as a maneuver skill properly, yeah? So he's going to do this thing now.
그래서 앞에서 이렇게 던져도 카운터가 돼요.
Oh, so you can also counter by throwing the dagger on front. It's crazy how he's showing you guys this very easily.
파괴가 안 되게 했는데 그냥 해볼게요.
Okay. Look how concise his movement is. Because when I play, I just move around everywhere. But concise and accurate the movement is. Look at that. It's called a true Reaper play right here. No damage. Doesn't even get hit. Wow. Okay, filling that bar up. Using that persona mode to go behind. So I think that's definitely one of the key things to mention that after hearing his guide, his tips were look how he's using the personnel mode, the rolling, right, the dumbling, throwing that dagger, doing the counter, and doing that destruction there too. Going back, I'm gonna fill that gauge up again. So he went back because he has one of his armor. So what he does is he does that big AoE. So that's why he went all the way back. He doesn't do that when you broke all of his armor out. The spacebar spam. So he goes to persona mode again. Fills the bar. Goes to persona mode again. Use the red skill. Goes to persona mode again. And then use the other red skill. Look at that. Look how concise the rotation is. Based on the builds too. Going backwards, like, wow. Chat, that was sick. So going back, as you guys seen for Moon Reaper, for solo content, what he just did was he would prefer something like a Thirst build, because as for Thirst, it's more chill. As in, as you noticed, when for Moon he was doing the persona where he had to move backwards, and the animation was a little bit longer. And while he was going back, you seen Hanumatan like spin his head around, right? So some of them didn't land at the back. So doing particular combination of skills at a very quick pace, playing something like a Thirst would be more preferable for players who are planning to not have like a more simpler version of Reaper. Instead of the Moon Reaper, you have to focus on getting the meter and then using the red skill. And then, you could be animation unlocked just a little more. Now, this is the Thirst Reaper. Oh, so you see, he uses the Awakening there to go to Rage mode immediately. Okay, so you notice how he's using the Nightmare for maneuvering more. So he's just waiting up a little bit, making sure you stay on his back the whole time. So you can just go back like that. Wow. Nice destruction. Wow. It's just pummeling skills on skills on skills. But look how easier the movements are. I find this more chill because you don't have to worry about skill rotations and like building up meter, all these things. You're just focusing on landing all the skills in the back while keeping that buff up. I think that's pretty important. Oh, look at that counter. That counter's sick. That's why Reapers are so good at countering. If you're a good player, countering everything, man. Everything. He just countered from the back. That was sick. Then you got a bunch of Reaper lovers coming in. There you go. Look at that. He's getting ready for the counter. Boom! Damn! Look at that. Getting ready for that counter, and they just went for it. Wow. Wow! He died before he even transformed. Like, he died right after he transformed. We have shown everything, guys. We have shown everything. We have shown the basics, all the stuff that we could cover. Time for a real quick Q&A. Okay. So this is a really good answer because I didn't know it personally either. So for Thirst before patch, it was more efficient because it was 1 versus level 3. Now after the patch, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna get the latest one for Reaper because the class is coming out way after. The level 3 is buffed to a point that it's so much more efficient. It says about 10% difference. So going level 3 might be very important, and even if you guys can't find the accessories, all these things, having two purple class engravings, even having 4/3s, having level 3 thirst may be very important for you to have a solid damage increase based on the limited choices that you have. Because you guys been asking me this the whole time too. It's like, can I go level 1 thirst? Can I, etc. All these things. But to get the specific answer properly, level 3 is better. And focusing on level 3 may be a better choice instead of trying to get like a level 1. So answering that number 1 and 2 question, what the question was, Necklace compares Spec Crit versus Spec Swift. Does that compensate the damage, etc. things? But in the end, as he said, if Reaper happens to have a 9/7 stone, there's not that much of an engraving choice that can significantly boost your performance. For example, Adrenaline increases 10% crit rate, right? Because if you have a level 2 Adrenaline for having a 9/7 stone for the Korean client, you're already high on crit rate anyways, right? So you're not getting as efficient on particular thing. So that's why you go Swift Spec to lower the cooldown just a little more. But at the same time, since if your gem is much higher, the cooldown just impacts to a point that you just make it more chill, like more chill play, more faster play. And also, if you go Swift, you have a benefit of going lower level cooldown gem at like the relic level, like a lower item level character. So putting those two into account instead of damage, it's how chill you want to get it to, like how comfortable do you want the playstyle to be for choosing those kind of two attributes. So the back attack damage card set is okay, but don't use your selection on your Galator. Hopefully you don't have someone like that. Hopefully.
이거 진짜 저한테 많이 물어봐요 사람들이. 그러니까 체구빛을 18각은 어떻게든 맞췄는데 30각을 맞출 자신이 없으니까 이거 그냥 저희 세우마로 쓰고 싶어요. 갈라툴에 전서팩 써도 되냐요? 이렇게 하고 싶은데 그럴 때마다 마우스 뺏어가고 싶어요. 그거 절대 안 된다고.
Yeah, you can't do it. No way. He said he wanted to steal their mouse for the people who ask about the back attack damage card set. You want to steal that mouse away so that you don't use the selection of Galator.
퍼라는 클래스 자체가 굉장히 매력적이고 숙련도가 쌓이면 쌓일수록 데미지가 올라가는 게 눈에 보일 정도로 잔여를 먹기도 되게 좋은 클래스인 건 맞아요. 북미 서버 유저분들도 아마 이 리퍼 출시를 많이 기다리고 계실 텐데 플레이 하시면은 실망하실 일은 아마 없을 것 같습니다.
As Reaper is a very tough class, but the better you play Reaper this is a class where the better you play, you can see your DPS increases, right? And as you guys, he has said that as you guys who are waiting for the Reaper release as well, I'm pretty sure you guys are excited. It's going to be a very fun class for you. Again, as you said, the better you are, the better you play. Obviously, the DPS, it's like the skill gap is so high to a point that your DPS is going to increase much more, right? And that's the last stuff that you want to say. Okay, so let's wrap up, guys. That was Reaper Drew, guys, and at the same time, I hope you guys get as many Light of Salvations as possible, so that you guys don't have any problems, increasing your damage if you guys are stressed out about Light of Salvation, right? And that's it, guys. So that was Reaper Drew, and this was the interview content that I usually do most of the time. I am so glad that he is over here to help us to explain about the Reaper class. Hopefully we can get more players and then get some interview content going for you guys. But, with that being said, this concludes the Reaper content interview video. As always, thanks guys. Bye. And make sure you say bye to Reaper Dude as well.